you guys know that when we were breaking down the matchups, NXZ was mentioning that he was feeling a little bit nervous. He's taking this very seriously. He's an emotional player. But he has a lot of love for Legacy. Legacy have shown him a lot of love for, I want to say, a year now. It feels like he's been on the team for quite a bit. And he is a absolute team player. He's passionate. He's great, Zerg. I have no idea what his level looks like now. I think this one is a little bit tough to call. This is the match when we were looking at the match. We're like, this one's a little bit hard to say who wins. I don't know about you. Maybe you have a favorite, but for me, I think it's kind of on a knife's edge, this one. It could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised to see Justice Simon or NXZ get the win here. What I am pleasantly surprised to see is that our observer decided to show up. That's very nice of him.
Shots fired. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like we kind of got away with that in game number 1 because I was observing there and trying to do that and talk at the same time was a little bit questionable. So I do apologize. If I could have some live edits, I'd probably take out the Tony Hawk stuff, but just got to own it, right?
You got to own it, that's right. now the world knows you like Tony Hawk 2 and you got it from a cereal box, and I got Tony Hawk 3, and I don't remember why I liked it, but I remember playing it a lot.
Good games.
I even used to skate, and I said the moves incorrectly. So I'm basically just a giant 30-year-old poser. We're letting that one hang as well. In the bottom right here, we have got our legacy player, the Zerg, the one and only Ryan NXZ Jones.
The kid. And in the top left here, playing for Team Vietnamese All-Stars, we've got Simon.
Got that Snoot portrait. Pleased to see Snoot decided to come out of retirement, at least for one event, on a Home Story Cup. I don't think he's playing tonight, but he's in Group D. Oh, I've forgotten. I don't know if you've seen the Home Story Cup groups.
I have not. Obviously, no passion. But
clearly, what the hell are you doing?
That is going to ruin my sleep schedule. How am I going to wake up for work? I have no idea.
When I was working my 9 to 5s, Monday to Friday, I did find that Home Story Cup was that special part of the year that completely ruined me. I'd arrive at work.
Home Story Cup and the Games Done Quick streams.
Oh, yes, of course. There's actually quite a few times a year. I think about it because there's Games Done Quick, the Summer Games Done Quick as well. And yeah. Oh, God. Got to stay up for those ones, man. And we still see Simon going for the pylon block here. He did this last time as well, and he actually got very aggressive with the pylon blocks from memory. NXZ, though, plenty of lings out early, so he's reading his opponent like a book at the moment.
Yeah, interesting that Simon's still committed to the pylon block against all of these early lings. Speed is going to be up very quickly as well. That's going to finish up around 2.5 minutes. And if we have a look in the natural of Simon, the wall is starting. So it looks like that will be enough to defend against these speedlings. But when you don't have any adepts out, these lings, they can start to really work their magic on those gateways.
I was actually just watching then. I was looking at Simon's bank, and I was watching this one gateway that he had Chrono Boost on, and I'm like, why isn't he making an adept out of it? He's one of those guys. He's just like me. He's like, unless both my gateways are producing an adept at the exact same time, I don't even want it.
Yeah,
I know that feeling. I want synchronicity. It's like, do I get +1 attack on my NG Bay? No, hell no. I wait for my second NG Bay to finish so I can get 1/1 at the same time.
I think he was actually waiting for the pylon, but I mean, the synchronicity, that's a much better explanation.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
I favor it. Yeah.
Yep.
The Nexus is underway now. It's about a third of the way done. Sentry coming out, so that will be instrumental in helping to hold the line, especially for Simon. He's in the dark, and this is one of the reasons why I quite like these aggressive openings from Zerg, is the Protoss player doesn't really get to scout now until the Stargate's up, or until you've got a decent number of adepts and they can shade across the map. But even that's risky. Like, you're seriously in the dark, you don't have any scans, you don't have obs, you just have to wait. Or once the sentry has enough energy, maybe go for a hallucination.
Now, if I'm remembering Simon's play last week, I think he actually went for Twilight Council, a robotics facility, and went for like a big adept prism all-in. And it didn't go according to plan.
Yes. No,
So
it did not.
the pull first from NXZ makes a ton of sense. He's going up in a lair here. Third base is down, so stuff's starting to look pretty regular for him, even with the aggressive opening. Or I guess you could look at it defensive, depends on how you want to look at it. And there is a pretty regular opening here from Simon, but with a faster Twilight Council than we saw Probe go for, because, I mean, hell, Probe was getting a fleet beacon around now. This is just a more standard opening here for VK Simon. So stuff's kind of slowed down a bit in this game.
Yeah, it has. And one of the changes, it doesn't really make much of a difference, but Warp Gate is now autocast. So once the Warp Gate research finishes up, the gateways are immediately made into Warp Gates, which is just a nice quality of life change. And
yeah, I mean,
it's really good for a couple of memes on Reddit, like just Terran players generally complaining that, oh, Protoss is already too easy. Why do they have to make it easier? Like, well, come on. At this level, everyone's going to be able to make gateways into Warp Gates.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, at Diamond 3, which is where my Protoss was last time I played it, which was, oh, God, like 8 months ago. At Diamond 3, I constantly forgot Warp Gate, so it helps me out a ton, but it doesn't change things at the pro level, in my opinion. It's like, you know, pros don't forget Warp to turn their gateways into Warp Gates. You know, it's not a problem, so I don't understand. People just need to have to complain about something, you know what I mean? There's a big Adept attack happening here for NXZ. He doesn't actually have Banelings. He's making a big cluster of Lings right now, so he should be okay if he engages on creep. There's no creep connecting the natural and third as well. In fact, I don't think there's any creep spread at all.
No,
look at it.
Not at all. These Adepts, the Shades are going to cancel, and Simon would try to go into those drones, I would have expected, but no. Just happy to sit in the third mineral line for the time being. He is having to deal with one of those Lings at the third as he tries to get his Nexus down. Oracle comes up to join in the fray. He does have to be careful there. The Hydra is making short work of that. 1-2 shots coming down from the Spore Crawler. Getting the Oracle is actually a huge deal. Great plays there from NXZ.
Yeah, that Oracle pilot, she was drunk behind the wheel. I mean, these Adepts are consistently doing damage here at this third base, though. The drone count of NXZ not where he wants it to be, and he's still not mining here. He will finally clean up these Adepts. They got a fair bit of damage done there, and I'm just wondering what the trades are. Where's that Shift L? There it is. I'm just looking at it on my end. NXZ, I mean, Incentive can bring it up as well, but looks like it's relatively similar trades to both players. Slightly more gas lost here for NXZ, but for the Protoss rather, but NXZ with a couple of hundred minerals. So I'd say like it's slightly better for the Zerg. Going for this counterattack would be quite nice as well, especially if he can cancel that third.
Yeah, if he could, that'd be a minor miracle. Simon doesn't have the traditional wall that you'd normally make with some pylons, so the Hydras do manage to get up there. The Lings got a bit of a surround, but the Adepts do have some strong DPS against these light units. A couple of force fields going down too, so that was all right. Simon's force fields have improved since weeks 1 and 2. I remember seeing some of the most questionable force fields of the tournament. But it looks like he's fixed some of those issues. Now he does have to be careful as the Lings are going to the natural and the Hydras are here at the third. And
well, I mean, the Lings
putting the heat on.
He is trying to stretch the multitasking here of Simon. Oh, catching a sentry is nice. If he with a couple of Lings, you can do that. Falls back. That thing's full of juice. But speaking of juice, just pulls up to that shield battery and gets healed up, no problem. And NXZ just really trying to put the heat on this third Nexus. Doesn't quite get it though, so this is good for Simon. He's got that probe count at a nice healthy 50 at the moment. He's making 3 at once. And we got a robotics bay going down here, and I'm wondering if he's going to try out that new disruptor, or if he's going to go for that new Colossus. Both of them have been changed a little bit. I mean, the disruptor's been changed a lot. The Colossus, I think, has got just a faster tracking or better tracking or something. Like it doesn't swivel anymore. Or
yeah, it can track while it moves, which is actually a very big change. So turret tracking on the Colossus will make a difference. I would expect that it'll be Colossus, considering that NXZ's on all of these light units with the Lings and the Hydras. But hey, Disruptor could work as well. Lings getting in here. Nice counterattack from NXZ. This is going to be able to clean up quite a few probes. Already 4 going down. Some of the Adepts are getting cleaned up as well. Simon pushing out. What can he do here at the third?
Quite a bit, I think. He's got a lot of force fields and a lot of Adepts here, and even without any upgrades, he is looking strong. He's got no resonating glaives, no +1 attack, but he has recall in the back, and this hatchery cannot be saved right now for NXZ. He got Baneling tech, but the Banelings aren't here. They can't help out. And I mean, Simon, it doesn't look like he's happy enough with that third base. He's going to continue to press the issue here. Oh, maybe he shouldn't. I think it's recall time.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh, very nice force fields.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yep, sentries still have a decent amount of energy as well, but the sentries will run out of juice at some stage. And NXZ, he's got his Baneling speed. It's like 2/3 of the way done once that finishes. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Nice.
Recalls a smaller radius as well. That's another change that we failed to mention. There's a few of those depths got left behind.
That's okay. The Adepts could even just go back into the natural and do some damage, and it looks like that is what he wants to do. I see some shades moving out into NXZ's base. Here we go. But the Lings are here. Should be able to clean this up without taking too much damage.
Yeah, easy hold here for NXZ. He's putting a lot of lava into units and not a whole lot into economy. I haven't seen too many drones coming out for NXZ here since that first, that last round at that hatchery that he took to in that triangle position here at the main base. I wonder if NXZ is going to start, now that Baneling speed is done, try and get across the map here and really hammer that Nexus that he's been trying to hit all game. All these Banelings getting into that natural. Not doing a whole lot more than that, though. Sentry not even needed.
Really inefficient trade there with the Banes. I'd love to see NXZ go for something like Baneling drops and start to use his multitasking to his advantage, because he's a very good multitasking player. And at the moment, his army composition is, I'd say, soft countered by what Simon has. All of those Adepts, the sentries for the force fields, a couple Colossi. That's going to make short work of the Hydras. So we do see the Spire coming down from NXZ as well. So maybe some, maybe Mutas, more likely Corruptors, and later on transitions. He's got possibilities of Broods in his future as well.
I actually wouldn't hate Mutalisks in this situation for NXZ. I mean, obviously, the Corruptors could be turning into Broodlords later, but as it stands right now, if NXZ really wanted to continue to pressure Simon, Mutalisks actually kind of demolish this army. The Archon's count's really low. He's got like a handful of sentries and one Stalker somewhere. So it's like it's a pretty good unit against this comp, but as it stands as Prism, it is noticed by NXZ, so he's going to start catching it. Oh, that's dead. Good catch from NXZ.
Yeah, one of the counter arguments to going Mutas is like just having the economy to be able to make those Broods later. And if you've got the Corruptors, you can still do some nice harass. You can go and use the Corrosive Bile on some of the buildings. He can make some short work of a Nexus here and there. Simon's now moving out. He is up in supply, and his army has a lot of firepower in it. Couple Warpins coming back at home to defend the Ling run by. And before, NXZ was able to take out about 7 probes, but here we go. The Corruptors focus firing down the Colossi. Decent micro so far by NXZ, but everything's dying on the ground.
I mean, the Colossi are starting to die, but unfortunately the ground army was attacking, still getting that splash damage from the Colossus. War Prism picks one of the Colossi up, but dies anyway, which was an inevitability at that point. And now these Corruptors are uselessly watching as their ground army starts to dissipate here for NXZ. VK Simon or Justice Simon bringing that Protoss Justice here for NXZ, who's just desperately trying to get those extra rounds of Hydras and Lings out. Can he hold on with what he has? Recall is off cooldown again here for Simon. The radius is still smaller. He's caught between 2 Zerg sandwiches here. The drone's been pulled. He's lost 22 of them. NXZ needs to hold on for dear life to continue to live in this game.
Yeah, he's done it. But he did lose a base in the process. So Simon, even though he loses the army, he certainly hasn't lost the game. He's up in the work account. He's already up again in the army supply. He's going for that 4th base. I'd like to see maybe a few more upgrades out of Simon, or just a switch in tech, because if NXZ is able to keep this game going longer, Simon's going to run into some trouble when he gets the Hive. The Corruptors trying to focus down that Nexus. It may actually go down. The damage is going very fast now. Corruptors snipe that base, snipe out the 4th, and now Simon's economy is going to be in tatters.
That was a very lovely play there from NXZ. He's kind of like poked the Hive here, and he might end up angering the bees. I mean, the Protoss could always still counterattack. He's got a pretty scary army here. Lots of Archons, plenty of Zealots and Adepts in here as well. The Colossus count, though, not as high as it was earlier, and NXZ still has some Corruptors alive. He's not replenishing those numbers, though, really concentrating on getting the drone count up, on getting the Hydra count up again, and trying to get a fourth base up. But that was brilliant from NXZ. That's kept them alive for sure.
He's certainly back in this game. He's down in supply, like you point out, but he's not only secured his third base again, he's getting his fourth, he's expanding to a fifth base, he's getting some creep spread moving across the map, does want to be careful, doesn't want to lose these Hydras. All of the units that he has is so valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just worried for the NXZ's army here.
It amazes me that Colossi can get through that gap, by the way.
Right? I mean, siege tanks don't fit, but... Oh, actually, no, they would. I've forgotten.
Siege tanks don't get through.
No, they're too thick.
Yeah,
so the Colossi just pulling back to the Archons here. The Corruptors are finding a nice angle here on this high ground. Warp Prism here to try and save this Colossi again. The micro from Simon to keep them alive. But the Colossi have to deal with his Corruptors. He's going for a big warp in here. NXZ not focusing down that Warp Prism, but does get the Colossus. If he can kill this Gateway army and the Archons, then maybe he can hold for the next round here. Simon's army is so fearsome, though.
It's like deja vu as Simon just keeps attacking with these Gateway forces. And it looks like Simon's army is really, really nice right now, but the Warp Prism is super low. It does fall. The Archon count, though, is getting up there, Maynard. And these Archons, they're big, beefy boys. The Colossi is just whiffing its shots away on an Extractor, so not the greatest micro from Simon. He does want to be careful. NXZ is just trying to buy some time. Is going to be able to snipe that Colossi. And now a couple Hydras left over, but it's not enough. GG. Simon's done it. He ties up the series.
And this is the first not 3-0 that I've got to experience for ANZ Pro League. So I missed week 1. So this is really happy. I'm excited. This is awesome. Vietnamese All-Stars getting a point on the board, and we got ourselves a series, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited.
Certainly do, and you called it. You called that NXZ might have gone down, so your prediction may come to pass. It's going to be cool. So what have we got up? Yeah, exactly. What have we got up next? We've got a game on Fracture, which is going to be QB versus Azure. That could be a cool one as well.
And that's actually another one that's a little bit hard to predict because Azure's current form is a little bit of a question mark. And, QB is, he got dispatched by Crimson last week. I think I've messed that up. I can't remember, but Kyubi, he or she got dispatched by Crimson last week. It was a very, very decisive win as well from Crimson. And but Crimson is, like, I consider another level above Azure. But Azure is, he's had some deep runs. I actually remember one of the, I think it was actually a WCS qualifier where he went super deep. It was into the grand final, I think.
Yeah, he's had some really excellent runs. I'm not sure if he's ever got to the grand final, but it might have been a grand final of one of the qualifying events, but not the main event. But
yeah,
Azure's in form, he would arguably be one of the top 3 Terrans. I think back in the day it would have been Igers, Seether, and Azure. And Azure was able to take some games off Seether. So he's got it in him, but I'm not sure how much he's been practicing. And in week 1, yours was able to dispatch Azure pretty easily. So his form was not too great there. But it was a TVZ. Now we've got a new patch. 2 weeks later, Azure's probably been practicing his ass off. And we'll see how he goes in this TVP.
I'm pretty excited. And the other thing that I have to shout out is that not only is the score quite close, but I feel like the games have been quite close. Like, even though Probe started to snowball out of control there, so did Simon towards the end. Up until that point, it was really a tug of war, and that game between NXZ and Simon was actually a great close match for like 70% of it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Really, really scrappy, but back and forth, bases dying left, right, and center. Third's getting sniped, fourth's getting sniped. But Simon being able to clinch that win is awesome, and it's going to make tonight a lot more interesting. As we say that, countdown's done, Maynard. We're loading into game number 3.
Hype. In the bottom right here, representing Legacy. seeing if he can get his advantage point for his team. It is Azure. And he is getting a little spicy here.
Just a wee bit spicy. And up in the top left, in the blue trunks, playing for the Vietnamese All-Stars, this is UB.
Well, Azure going for Le Proxy. Waiting for that depot to finish to get that Rax down. Being a bit of a cheeky boy. Now, one of the best ways to scout for a proxy is to go to the main of your opponent, and UB is doing exactly that. Not seeing a barracks in the wall is a bad news bear situation, and there is only one gas for Azure, though. Oh, there's that second. Now he's going to scout this. Seeing this means lock things down.
Yeah, lock it down as much as you can. I think that in the past we've seen Terrans do this and go into Cyclones, which early on, and if you guys haven't seen the changes, Cyclones are no longer machine gun units. They've got a lock-on, which locks onto ground units, and they do a lot of damage. So it's 400 damage over 16 seconds, which is basically going to be a guaranteed kill on a Protoss unit early game. So there's a couple of approaches that Protoss can take to defend this. They can go for robo or shield batteries, things like that. This is interesting. I'm not quite sure what the pylon is here for, but I'm expecting that Protoss units will, at some stage, be coming up that ramp.
I sometimes, when I see things like that, I almost think like it's just to force an SCV pull, like an overreaction. Because Azure actually has not a ton of information on what his opponent's up to, but does have a little bit. That Reaper getting up in the main base now, and QB had all the information in the whole world to know that this was happening. Bit of nice probe micro there to try and keep them alive. One goes down, two go down, sorry, excuse me. And yeah, so Azure just continuing to put the pressure on with that Reaper. It is going to get easier and easier for QB to hold, especially if he catches that Reaper. Oh, just gets out of range and escapes to regenerate some health.
Yeah, Azure now with a couple of these Reapers, he can dart back up into the main. QB going for a Stalker. The Adept is flying its way across the map. The Rax has been lifted. There was no proxy factory, which is quite interesting. We do see the Tech Lab coming down in the factory, so it could mean a couple of things. He could go into potentially Cloak Banshee, but no, he's gone straight for that Cyclone, straight for that upgrade. Now, this is the new Mag Field Accelerator upgrade, and once that's done, it will not do 400 damage over 16 seconds. It will do 400 plus 400 to Armored over 16 seconds.
That's right. Whatever the Cyclone locks onto, as far as gateway units goes, is dead. As long as it has vision. And it can micro back. It's very, very hard to control against as a Protoss player. I mean, with Blink, you have the possibility of keeping a Stalker alive, but again, once you get that lock on, the Cyclone is very easy to just pull out of range, and it's actually quite simple for them to get rid of this pylon as well. Doesn't have Mag Field Accelerated just yet, so it does have to use a couple lock-ons here.
The Liberator choice is interesting as well, because he'll be able to potentially harass into the natural with Cyclones, get a Liberator in the back there in the main, and prevent a lot of mining. Reaper does go down, so nice pick up there by QB. That'll allow him to breathe a bit of a sigh of relief and start going for that Nexus, potentially at the natural. We do see Azure. He's already started his command center. It started before the Nexus of the Protoss, so already off to a good start with his opening. Adding on another couple of racks here too. He wants to go for most likely stem and combat shields very quickly. And then the mid game, once all of this craziness is done, if we get there, it's going to look pretty standard.
Yeah, and the Cyclone here is actually not only a very good gateway unit deterrent, it's a very good anti-air deterrent as well. Extremely good at picking off Warp Prisms and Oracles and that sort of thing. But of course, Azure knows this isn't a Stargate opening from the Protoss. Is getting that Viking out at the moment, and Vikings have they've always had that bonus against robotics. So they're actually quite good at landing in probe lines and doing damage. And speaking of, we got a Liberator here in the main base. There was some probe kills, denying some mining here for the main.
Yeah, nicely done. So QB's economy has been suffering. He's really bringing in a couple of minerals here and there. Blink's done though. He blinks on that Liberator and takes it out. But Azure did enough damage to make that Liberator worthwhile.
He also sees that QB has gone for a big ball of Blink Stalkers. He saw Blink, he saw all these Stalkers, so he's going to continue producing those tanks, getting bunkers up as well. Because with the Observer here, and of course, with a big number of Stalkers, he can dart in the main, pick off add-ons, pick off units, and then dart on out again. But with siege tanks in a bunkered up fortified position like this, it's a lot tougher for the Protoss. Getting that Observer would be huge here. You can scan and get rid of it now.
Yeah, it does look like that's what he's going to go for. The Stalkers blink into the natural. Oh, he's going to be so careful. Loses one of the Stalkers. Gets the bunker and blinks on out of there. So overall, you'd have to say better trade for Azure than it was for Kyubi. Azure's also got the mule, so his economy is doing very, very nicely. There's no vision here on the high ground, so there's no threat of Stalkers linking up at this stage. Well, where does QB go from here? He's adding an extra gateway.
Charge and Storm, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Charge and Storm, 2 base, it's still going to kind of hit like a wet noodle.
He only has 2 gases being mined from. So it's like, it seems like he wants to go for that big gateway style that a lot of Korean Protoss has been doing. Where you actually don't get splash damage, you just get tons of gateway units. Is he just going to mass Blink Stalkers here and charge lots and just hope for the best?
He's going all in. I'm sure that you're right at this point. Azure, though, his army supply is fantastic, but don't let that fool you. QB can make a whole bunch of army very, very quickly, but QB doesn't really have the bank that he needs to warp in a full round once these gateways are done. He needs to start saving up. He's not making any more probes. He cut on 40. And we'll see how many units he can make. I mean, does he wait for just 1 round of units, or does he go for 2?
Good scan. He sees that there's no gases taken at the natural, sees the saturation as well. Azure's got to know right now that he is about to get something very spicy attacked to him. He knows there's no third as well from this Hellion, or from this Marine darting around through the map. So, or at least he has a pretty good idea it's not a third. Protoss generally don't expand to the south here.
Yeah, there's only ever really possibilities of maybe a hidden base, but that's unlikely given how the early game is gone. Does lose a Stalker. Every Stalker, every unit counts. He'd be down 30 supply. And Azure feels really confident. He's just stimming out the front, going to take out that Observer.
Nice.
So that shuts down one possible avenue for QB to do some damage and get in. Tanks are still being made. I'd like maybe Azure to go into some mines once he's got these 3 tanks, but going for that third, adding a Liberator, decent choices.
I'm waiting to see what QB is doing here. I'm like checking the production tab, just making pylons and there's a proxy pylon that I'm pretty sure Azure saw. Yeah, he did see it with that Marine, but hasn't dealt with it yet. Just being careful. He's going to get rid of it now, but leave a little bit of an opening for QB to potentially grab this army. If he loads into the medevacs, they're just going to get Blunk and sniped down. Oh man, this Bio getting caught between a rock and a hard place. Oop.
Yeah, very nice trade there by QB. Maybe a couple of units will go down to the Cyclone there. 1 Zealot. Again, every unit counts. QB is still committed to this 2-base timing. Once these Liberators come out though, Maynard, this gets a lot trickier for QB to do that damage. Doesn't have the Zealot count that he would like. Liberator's starting to siege up. The Warp Prison going into the main. And the Cyclone did get a lock on, so down that goes. How quickly was that done?
That new Cyclone pretty good at dealing with Warp Prisms, as we mentioned earlier, and QB goes for the big blink here. Still plenty of bio left for Azure. The reinforcements, will they be enough? The tanks are just taking a little while to die there. I think the reinforcements for Azure is going to be too much for QB, and this looked like an all-in, so, I mean, he is down 10 probes right now. There's no third base. And Azure's like, well, I mean, you can all in again, but your options are kind of limited right now. There's not really a mid game for you.
Yeah, it's super limited. I wouldn't be surprised to see QB tap out at any stage. It does look like, to his credit, he's going to stick around and try it once more. What is this? Is he either going to pull the boys or start long distance mining? Okay. This is just when you know you're in dire straits as a Protoss. And you have to start long distance mining to be able to support your gateway production. Very good.
All right. So they go for a third here, but I mean, Azure, I guess he feels like this is his only play here is to go for a third and hope that Azure just sits back for a little bit and slows things down. Azure actually lost a lot of army as well as QB, so QB may be making the right call that, hey, Azure does not have enough to counterattack me. Like, the trade was good for him, but not that good where he can't just attack me with an army that I can't handle. And, I mean, the Prism play could be nice again, but Azure has been quite nice at dealing with Prism harassment this game. He's got that Viking on patrol here. I think he lost that Cyclone, doesn't really have that in his army anymore. So, I mean, that seems like a good thing to just have sitting around your main base waiting for that Prism.
Yeah, he's got one Cyclone just at the front. Would be nice to have that in the back, but does find a Warp Prism. Hello there.
Yeah,
Viking's going to chase that away. And a couple Stalkers not really able to find any damage. And Azure, look at him. He's up to 144 supply, the 82 of Protoss.
Yeah, it's a very favorable position here for the Terran, to say the least. He's ahead in every single regard here. His third's quicker. Worker count's better. Army's better. It's higher tech. It's better upgraded. Storm is on the way here for QB, and that can change things if they're amazing storms. But Azure has so many Liberators, so many Marauders, it can actually weather a bit of bad weather, pun not intended.
Nice. Okay, Azure. This is his time. He starts to move out. We're at 170 supply. That is a scary force of Liberators, Maynard. And once he starts to siege those up, there's only 4 sentries and 5 Stalkers. And we're looking at 6 Liberators. There's no way QB's going to be able to win this fight. So he needs to back up. Going to try and buy some more time, looking for some money storms or just anything that he could use to kill that army. Would have loved to even maybe saw a disruptor or two, now that they're reverted back to their old form as well. This gets real tricky. He tries to do it, blinks under the Liberators, but there's just too much Terran here.
Yeah, it looks like the Marauders are breaking on through, and that is it for QB. GG. Azure getting advantage point here for Legacy. One more map away from victory. Vietnamese All-Stars still with a life in the back, though. Can fight back. Looking forward to that next matchup.
They could. Yeah, they certainly could. We'll have to see what form Azure is in when he goes up against Peppy in just a little bit here. Very nicely played there by Legacy. They're just one map away from ending their loss streak. So you just know that Peppy's going to be rearing to go. He's been playing a lot of StarCraft lately. He's a passion lord.
Pleased to hear it.
Yeah, but looking forward to that game. And remember, guys, there will be a giveaway in the channel very soon for a co-op commander. That's the new 021. So if you're keen for that, it's live right now. So I'm just getting told by production. So giveaway is live. Make sure you enter that, and that'll be drawn in a little bit this evening.
Exclamation mark raffle. All one word's what you need to type in there. Don't type the word exclamation mark. Because then you're being silly.
Yeah. I'd love one of those codes. That'd be awesome.
That's right.
I'll just have to spend my hard-earned $6.95.
I was going to say, I'm one of those really silly people that when the co-op commander was announced, I bought it immediately, and then I'm like, oh damn, I probably could have asked for a code. Oops, daisies. Mistakes were made.
Gotta use and abuse your connections, friends in high places.
I always forget that. I get into my little nest, and I'm just in my own little world, man. I don't think about things like that. I'm not a very good what do you call? I don't know. Connections
Hustler.
guy. No, I'm not a very good hustler. There you go. That's a good word. Schmoozer.
Okay.
I'm not a schmoozer either.
Yeah, that's a better word. I like it. You wouldn't be a very good politician.
No, I'm not a schmoozer. I'm just a loser. I just play video games and stream occasionally. I got Peppy in the lobby, and he's rocking the portrait of the champ himself, Serral Yonasatala.
Is Cyril going to be at Home Story Cup?
He is.
Oh.
GG.
Cyril on new patch. I mean, even with the changes to creep spread, I don't think that's going to slow him down. It's just
yeah.
a little blip in the road. He's incredible. One of my favorite things from BlizzCon was just looking at that first-person view.
Right?
Of
Oh
Cyril.
my god! Oh, dude,
Insane.
seeing that, I've seen him over the shoulder. I've seen him first person cam, like in the while casting. You can't help but smile. Like as someone that plays the game, you really appreciate it. And I feel like even as someone that doesn't play StarCraft a whole lot, just watching how fast it is just hard to not be amazed. But I guess he's not the PC Player of the Year or whatever that award was. So that's he's only a scrub as far
who
as
cares about those industry awards?
Nobody.
Yeah, you have to be rubbing shoulders and schmoozing. I bet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Place full of schmoozes,
networking.
man. We just established I'm not one of those.
That's a shame.
Oh well.
We're waiting for our Vietnamese All-Stars player to join the lobby here. So we're waiting
Mm-hmm.
on Asura. Now,
Asura... No, not here yet.
Do we know what race is Asura again? It was.
I believe Asura is Zerg. I think.
I don't believe we've seen him play in the tournament so far, so that's why I'm drawing a blank. I don't think that Vietnamese All-Stars has fielded them yet. And the Vietnamese All-Stars is actually a pretty deep lineup. I think that Mia Micah was saying in chat one of these last weeks that he's got something like 5 GMs in his team and like an extra 4 Masters players. So he's got enough players to call on. And it's cool for them to get an opportunity as well. One of the things that I've historically not liked about the end of the year is it's not really that much for competitive players to sink their teeth into, because you're just kind of waiting for WCS or ACL to start up again, and you had these periods of 3 or 4 months where not much was happening. But now we've got stuff like this to fill in the gaps. It's far better for the players.
Yeah, I kind of like this off season because it's when stuff gets weird, and when there's a lot more, I guess, breathing room for Blizzard to do crazy stuff, like roll out a new patch where all the units are different.
Well, not roll out a patch with these Tempest.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it's going to take for them to be changed.
I don't know. Looks like I was right. It is a Zerg. Thanks, memory. I swear I've seen Asura in WCS qualifiers before, and that's where I recognize the name. Just trying to remember. Cast my brain back. But we are going to have a ZVZ here. One last chance for the Vietnamese Old Stars to try and tie things up and get that ace match happening. Or Peppy gonna cut the head off their dreams and drink their blood and get Legacy's first W.
Very graphic.
Well, I mean, it's an MA15 game, so we're good to go.
Exactly. It's like, who's the author of Watchmen? Alan Moore? Is it him?
That rings a bell. I was actually talking about this the other day. Oh God,
Alan Moore.
It is Alan Moore. Yep,
it is.
Yes. I just googled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say your description of that just sounded like something out of Watchmen.
It's all just a joke.
You're trapped in here with me.
I got to rewatch that maybe. I don't know why people didn't like it. I liked it. In the bottom left, this is Legacy player repping that Legacy green. It is Peppy.
And up here in the top right, repping the red, we've got Asura.
A gas canceller. One of those Zergs.
I love how it's 8 years later and there's still debate over whether or not the gas canceller is worth it. Just one of those things.
I wish it was the only thing people have been debating over for 8 years.
Nah, that'd be too boring.
That is true.
You need more debate, What else am I going to wake up to in the morning? Read my Reddit threads on the StarCraft Reddit and just have a sensible chuckle to start my day.
So you like to start do you like to start your day with like one debate or a handful of debates, or how many debates are we talking here?
Well, it depends on the quality of the debates. Like sometimes they'll just be like nothing good to read, and I won't even get one sensible chuckle. Other times you can just sit there and laugh for half an hour.
You wouldn't masturbate first thing in the morning? Just one or two?
Just one or two really cheeky ones. No, I'd probably prefer just to have a bit of a giggle, to be honest.
It's a top chuckle. It's a top deck.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the drones pulled out of gas here for Peppy. Oh, sorry, for Azura. The nameplate actually messed me up a little bit there. But just pulling out of gas completely. So Peppy is keeping him in, looking to get a little bit more tech, potentially even a baneling nest on down here for Peppy, whereas Ahsoka, aka Asura, is just looking to get a lot of minerals, potentially a lot of lings. We're seeing a lot of them in the production tab right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually really identified ways just to cut a couple corners, and I think we saw 2 or 3 extractor tricks to try and maximize the efficiency of his minerals and the time that the drones were spending there. And as you point out, the jerrylings, man, although I mean they will have speed, there's going to be so many of them. 8 more in production right now. We're already sitting on 14 lings for Asura. Unfortunately, the Overlord will get wind of this, and we will see absolutely everything that's coming his way. And Peppy is adding a spine crawler back at home, lings of his own, baneling nest coming up, and he's got queens on the ramp. So it looks like he's got a solid foundation to defend.
Yeah, he's got to slow these lings down, cut down the amount of damage they're going to do. Like, they are going to do damage. It's just a question of trying to delay or deny the amount that they can do just in time to get the baneling tech up. It's 3/4 of the way done, the baneling nest. Queen's holding strong on the ramp so far. He does not have a transfusion just yet. He's coming down with those extra queens and extra lings to come and engage. Doesn't have speed yet either. It doesn't really matter when the ling count is this high an advantage for Asura. And as long as he keeps that natural alive, gets a couple banelings done in the front of this natural, Asura will be deflected.
Yeah, it looks like Peppy's got some great defense here. I'm loving that position for the spine. Azura is trying to get some decent surrounds. The transfuse, you can actually see there, is quite delayed,
okay.
But look at that.
That's done and dusted. That baneling was a little bit weird towards the end there, but Peppy has held. And, I mean, Asura is just holding that Z button and hoping for the best. He taps D a couple times there to get a couple drones out. But, I mean, he definitely has focus on lings right now. Does not have a wall in. And there is a counterattack, baneling attack coming from Peppy. But he's on top of these baneling cocoons. Going to get on top of the last couple. It's like one's going to finish.
Oh,
God.
Just in the nick of time there, Asura manages to take out those banes. Well, Asura is still not mining any gas at the moment, Maynard, so the mineral economies are roughly equal, but Peppy, he has had a new round of drones just finished up, so he went up to 32 to the 19 of Asura, starting to throw down a couple more production structures or Evo chamber here, looking maybe for some upgrades later on.
Oh, Asura!
Banelings!
Oh, God.
Everything dies.
Jeez, Asura has zero chill. I've never seen someone be so aggressive and just impatient with their lings. He's just going for it, going, you know what? There's a 50, it's like a coin flip. There's a chance that these baneling cocoons are not nearly done. I'll just continue A moving here. And then, whoopsie daisies. It's happened twice this game. Just lost all the lings to a couple lanes.
Yeah, he's just been going for it, man. And like they say, winners never quit, quitters never win. So he's just stuck to it. He is finally starting to get some gas and throwing down a baneling nest. But Peppy, he's already prepared for it. He's going for that roach den. He's going to have roaches. Roaches are pretty good against banelings.
Yeah, I was going to say that this baneling nest feels 2000 and late here from Asura. It's like he's a step behind Peppy. Peppy's got the next level here, which is those roaches like you mentioned, and they're just going to be so good if he ever wants to attack with them.
It's 2018, man.
That's right. I mean, the third could be denied here with these lings, but that's no skin off Peppy's nose. Still has that tech. Sees the roaches, in fact, with these lings. Keeps the banelings alive.
Peppy just wants to defend. Going for the lair. He can get that +1 missile weapons. He's going to be fine. Here we go. I mean, lings and banes, we'll see what they can do. If he can get a cancel in the third, it's still not going to be the worst thing in the world for Peppy. Does look like he's going to force a cancel. Not going to be enough time to walk across there. Peppy gets the cancel, but the drone does go down.
What?
And Peppy sees all the Banes.
What is Asura hoping to... I know Asura is hoping to win the game with his big bust here, but does he seriously think it's going to work?
Look, probably not.
Yeah, considering all these armies coming home. It gets a third base, drops double Evo. I like that a lot more, actually, from Asura. I think that's a great decision. Because there is this Roach army here from Peppy, which is sort of darting forward, darting back, and he's not really sure what he wants to do with it just yet. Azura morphed 1,000 Banes in front of Peppy and then walk them home. Both players are still a little bit tough to read each other at the moment.
Yeah, Peppy getting a nice scout there. He gets to see all of the drones that are there. He sees the lack of gas at the natural. He sees there's only one gas in the main.
And they dance!
Oh, wow.
He
I love it.
danced in his main. Peppy feeling like Legacy's got this one in the bag.
The Curb Your Enthusiasm theme music starts playing.
And there is mass slang here, and Peppy's just like, you know what? All I have to do against this mass slang is stay here and A move into your stuff. You can split your lings and micro as well as you want against my 12 banelings, but I have a feeling I'll be okay.
Just the sneaking suspicion.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow. All right, so +2 missile attacks have started. The Roach speed is just about finished. 2, 1, it's done. Peppy, his work account's been amazing. His cost efficiency, it honestly hasn't been the best, but because of the resource lead that he's had all game long, he's in such a commanding position. Now, from here, Asura really needs to find some way to either do damage to Peppy's economy, or he just needs to win a fight, but I'm not sure how he manages to achieve either of those goals.
I kind of wish that Asura used that Ling Bane to go into Mutalisks, which is usually a strong follow-up when you go for that kind of style. Serral's done it, Scarlet does it, Reyna does it in ZVZ as well. It's like it's actually a pretty powerful unit, but Peppy got that scout off in the main, and another great Baneling connection. I mean, these Lings are just... I mean, they could have lived. They could have turned right. They zigged instead of zagged, and they went into the third.
One thing to consider as well is the Vietnamese players will probably have pretty high ping comparatively to the Australian server, right? So what they might have been able to do on, say, the Singaporean server with maybe 50 ping, it's going to be more challenging for them to do that over here. And that is a lot of Lings. They're starting to be upgraded. Maybe, just maybe, Azura can find a way in, but with these Banelings, he's going to need a split and show us some control that he just has not been able to find so far. These Banelings are slow, and if Peppy splits up his forces just a little bit, he's going to be fine.
Well, I mean, it's 1-1 is done, so they can soak a Baneling here, but can they soak 1,000 Roaches? Magic 8 Ball says, outlook grim. As these Banelings roll in and do not really do anything. GG. That's kind of it. I mean, Peppy's going to go for this counterattack now. And there is 1-1 Lings with Baneling potentially on the other side of the map. He never got a lair, so he can't get Baneling speed. Door is open for this counterattack, actually. It's the first time Peppy hasn't defended immaculately in this game.
Yeah, it's fine. He's just walking across the map. At this point, he's just like, I'm going to go and kill him.
Yeah.
Like, stuff that third base. It's all good. I'm going to kill his third. I'm going to kill his natural. I'm going to win this. His army supply is up to 106, Maynard. And even a Lurker Den going down behind this. So if this fails, he's still going to have invisible units that'll do a lot of damage and just eat everything on the ground.
Yeah, and they are actually doing a very good job of eating everything on the ground right now. Lings flooding in back here against these 2-1 Roaches, which are just mincing them to pieces.
The Burrow Micro as well. Very nice.
Yeah. Nice play there from Peppy, and he does get the win. Legacy's first win for Season 3, 3-1 over the Vietnamese All-Stars for our first match of the night. And that one was spicy. This has already been the longest broadcast I've been in for Season 3 of ANZ Pro League, but I don't think it gets shorter than last week.
Yeah, what was last week? It was like 70 minutes, and that was
I think so in total.
2 best of 5s.
Yep.
That was unusually short.
Yeah, it was insane.
Lots of cheese. Yeah. So this has been
Well,
a good card so far. Bit of an
mhm.
improvement in the closeness of the games too. So all of them have had a point where it could have gone either way, and that's what I like to see from my StarCraft.
Now, I remembering something we were talking about before the broadcast. Just going to dial in right now to production. Production, are you there? Are we doing our giveaway for the first key right now? Let's do it. All right. Well, I guess whoever is running the bot, you're going to have to run it. I don't know if you want to give some people to roll in with a raffle command for a second here before you do it, but there is a
On a
stream delay, so
3 minute
I guess
delay,
not.
it might
Yeah,
be
probably not. Probably
difficult.
not.
Yeah.
I forgot about that stream delay. All right, there's going to be another one, so don't get upsetty spaghetti. We're going to have another one. It'll be all good. 2
And
codes to be
again,
given away. And if you guys thought that we were done with the StarCraft for the evening, well, I mean, you're just incorrect. You just weren't paying attention. We got another series coming up next. It's going to be SYF Gaming, the big dogs, up against Downfall. We're looking to be their downfall. But it's going to be tough. SYF have got some big guns tonight, and Downfall are going to bring out their best to see if they can get it done. I'm excited for it. We're going to take a short break. It'll be about 5 minutes. And when we come back, it will be the second series. And apparently, Pez has won the raffle. So congratulations, Pez. Enjoy your Zeratul while you're practicing your ladder. We'll see you guys after the 5-minute break for the next series. Don't go away.